Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, my name is VANO. So today on DudeGlam, we're going to be testing out and trying a full face of makeup using MS Glamour. If you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I love having everyone on here and following the DudeGlam journey. And give this video a big thumbs up and hit the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to play around with MS Glamour makeup today, then keep on watching. Alright, well I am super excited for today's video, you guys. So a couple weeks ago, MS Glamour's PR rep reached out to me and was gracious enough to let me go on their website and pick out an entire bag of makeup to review. And here it is. Apparently there's over $400 worth of makeup in here. I am so beyond thankful. You know, DudeGlam for me is something that is a passion project and something that I've really been working hard on, especially in 2019. So when I have a company who does reach out to me like this, I mean, it really just, it warms my heart so much, and I'm so appreciative, and thank you very much to the MS Glamour team, because I'm just so grateful and thankful for you all trusting me and letting me review your entire makeup line, and I just can't wait to get into all this amazing makeup that you sent me. I would also like to say that just because this company did send over a bunch of PR to me does not mean that this is going to sway my opinion about this makeup. This is me, my own personal thoughts and opinions, unbiased for you, and honestly, again, I'm thankful that a company reached out to me and is allowing me to review their entire product line, but again, it is not going to sway my opinion in any way just because they've done so. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's begin. So when I say that MS Glamour was super generous and kind to send over literally an entire product line for me to build an entire face, I'm not kidding you guys. I've got foundations, I've got primers, I've got setting sprays, I've got all of these amazing kits here to use. I've got blushes, I've got lip glosses, lip liners, I've got their translucent powders. I mean, it's just like top to bottom, they are covered. So right off the bat, I will say the packaging is very minimal. Here is what one of the packages looks like, and this is the logo here, MS Glamour. I will say that it's very minimal. I mean, I like black, so I'm here for black. The only thing I do wish is that these were labeled some way, because they all just say MS Glamour. It doesn't say, you know, contour kit or highlight or blush or whatever. It's just literally the company name and then all the ingredients here on the back. I would like to also add that these products are paraben-free, hypoallergenic, allergy-tested, fragrance-free, and not tested on animals, so that's a plus. I'm first gonna go in with their primer, and this is called Camera Ready. Gonna take a little bit on the back of my hand. Oops, she's fresh. Ooh, very jelly-like. It looks kind of thick. Has a silicone-y feel to it. All right, let's get this on my face and see what happens. Now on the website, it does say that this primer is $42.99, and it is a makeup base that gives a matte finish, and it minimizes fine lines, and it's perfect for all skin types. It helps the makeup last all day and look flawless. Now I do feel a lot of that silicone-ness on my face, which, I mean, I'm fine with. It has a little bit of a slip to it, so I'm really interested to see how this is going to work with the foundation. For foundation today, I'm going to be using the shade N45, and this is in the shade Cool Neutral. And on the website, it says that it is full coverage, it's a matte finish, and for dry skins, it's recommended to use with the Camera Ready primer to increase slip. Well, I don't have dry skin, but I applied it anyway, just, you know, for the sake of this video, and it's hypoallergenic. And it is $28.99. Let me just unbutton this for a second before we get into it. Ooh, there we go. I'm gonna take a couple pumps here on the back of my hand. Is there a fragrance? No, not really fragrance. And let's get to blending. Okay, oh, it's kind of runny, so I'm gonna act quick here and just kind of get it all over. I think I'm gonna have to add a couple more pumps, and this color specifically I think is just a little too light for me. They did send over a darker shade, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply a couple pumps of the darker shade and mix that in, and then we will continue on. This isn't anything negative to say, but I personally would call this a medium to full coverage type of foundation. Because I have this thick beard, it doesn't really give me the full coverage that I'm used to. It's got a beautiful natural finish. It blended out super easy. I mean, just with a big buffing brush like this, I was able to get my entire face done in like 30 seconds. For concealer, I have two different shades here. This one is N45 Cool Neutral, and this one is C1 in Warm Yellow. I'm gonna mix them. So I'm first gonna go in with Cool Neutral, lay that down, blend it out, and then I'm gonna apply Warm Yellow on top of it. They do also have sponges. I don't have a sponge, so today I am gonna be using my Morphe sponge. Alright, yeah, Cool Neutral is pretty much the same shade as the foundation that I'm wearing. Now, I like a little bit more of a brightening effect underneath my under eyes, so I am going to go in with the other shade, C1, to try and brighten up everything that I've already laid down. That's what I'm talking about. So the concealer itself is a very kind of thin and sheer consistency, I would say. It's not anything close to like Tarte Shape Tape. I feel like it's a little bit more on the thinner side. Now, if you are trying to do full coverage, I would say that this would mean that you really have to build up a lot of the concealer and the face products in order to achieve that. My mind might be changed, but right now it does seem like, again, still a medium to full coverage, not full coverage. To set the eyes, I'm going to go in with this highlight and contour kit, and I'm going to dip into these two shades with my sponge and set my under eye concealer. Ooh, that definitely mattified me out. Hello. It did a decent job of covering up my bags, but again, I'm not sure if this is something I would call full coverage. It's like medium coverage. Now to contour, I'm going to go in with this middle shade right here, and I'm just going to do 2 taps, not a lot of fallout. Well, there was a little bit that kind of left my brush there. Let's try that again. Okay, and I'm gonna go in and start to carve out my face because my face is in desperate need of some contour. That's a nice color. I'm actually really loving this shade right here. This is the only one I've been contouring with. It's like right in between a bronzer and contour color, and it is giving so much life back to my face. So MS Glamour, this shade right here, I kind of wish it had a name. It's amazing. I kind of wish it was in a single because I would take this all day long. I'm gonna go in now with this shade right here, the lighter one, and just start to mix that into the contour I already have. I just wanna see what happens if I start to blend these together a little bit. Ooh, okay, that's really nice. It kind of adds the little bit of like a gray shadow to my cheeks, and I really like that. Okay, so that's a winning combo. I think if I were to do this again, I would probably start out with the lighter shade and then add this shade on top of it. Probably should have done that in the beginning, but you know, whatever. We're just playing around and having fun today. I will say that this powder kit is doing a really good job of warming me up, cutting my cheekbones, giving me dimension and definition. So as of right now, this is my favorite product. I'm gonna take my sponge and go into this shade over here and slightly cut up my cheekbones. I'm gonna go back in now with this middle shade here, and I'm gonna use that to contour my nose. Ooh, that is bright and pigmented. Okay. Now, I will say that the powder is pretty intense. I've had to go over it a couple times after I've applied it with the brush just to kind of soften it a little bit. So be warned that this is very intense pigment, but honestly, the color, especially for my skin tone, is flawless. Now before I move on, I'm gonna dip into this other palette here, and it's got blushes, highlights, contour shades. I think you could use this as a blush and maybe a little bit of a bronzer too, and then also a really nice warm tone bronzer. So what I'm gonna do is kind of warm up my face a little bit more with this color right here, just to give my face a little bit more of that summer bronzy look. Ooh, that's pigmented. All right, so I really gotta be careful with that. Let's just buff that in. But you know what? That really mixes nicely with the 2 contour shades I put on. One thing that's really interesting and that I like about these products is that if I feel like I've added a little bit too much powder or whatever, like I felt like I had a little bit too much bronzer to my nose, I've just been lightly tapping it with the sponge on my nose, and it's been absorbing just enough product to leave, you know, that nice kind of bronzy sun-kissed look on my nose that I'm going for, rather than like I just slam my face into the palette. So I really like that about this. For blush, I have this shade called Ladybug, as well as these other 2 colors here in the palette, but I don't think I'm gonna go with any of these because they seem way too peachy. And then this color here just seems a little too dark. So I think I'm gonna stick to this color here, Ladybug, and I'm gonna use that to blush today. And that's a lot of product, so. Now, I don't mind going a little heavy-handed with my blush because that's one of the things that usually comes off first. So I'm just going back and blending in the product that I just laid down. So like I said, there is a highlight here in this palette, and I'm just gonna swatch this really quickly for all of you to see. It's a beautiful kind of light metallic gold. It blends in really nicely with my skin tone, so I might actually use that. I will say though that they also have a full highlight palette, and I have it here in front of me. You guys, look at all of these. This is beautiful. This is like a nice purple. This is more of like a peachy rose. These are two on more like the deep golden side. And then these are on the lighter shimmery kind of opalescent side. So this is a really pretty palette. I think if I were to go into any, it would probably be maybe like a mixture of these two. I kind of wish that all these palettes did have names attached to each of the colors. I feel like that adds another really great layer and story into not only the makeup, but also to the company itself. So maybe for future runs, when they are releasing new products, they could start to incorporate that into their line. So here are those two golden shades swatched. Ooh, those are really pretty. I'm not sure if you can see those on camera, but I am really vibing with this one down here, the kind of middle sun-kissed shade. So on one side, I'm gonna apply with a brush, and the other side with a sponge, and then we will compare. Okay, so this is a very subtle highlight when applied with a brush. Let's do the sponge and see what happens. Ooh, okay. So when you apply with a sponge, bam, there it is. Do you all see that? Now just for fun, I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade here and give my highlight just a little bit more dimension, because why not? Ooh, do you see that? 3 taps and bam. Wow, this combo is beautiful on my skin. Oh my God, you guys, the highlighters from MS Glamour, these are an A+. It is fantastic. So if you go onto MS Glamour's website, you will see that they have a few different palettes. And the one that I decided to play around with was, no surprise, but, ooh, we'll take that off. It's a very neutral palette. I really like my neutrals, and I was really vibing with, you know, the kind of like bronzy, sun-kissed, you know, summer glow. I'm gonna give that a go today with this neutral palette, and I'm excited to see what happens. To prime, I'm gonna be using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, since MS Glamour does not have one in their collection. And I also wanted to mention that this palette name here, this is called the Sunset palette. For my crease, I'm gonna go in with this color right here and start to really give myself a nice, beautiful kind of sunset, blown out smoky eye. And I think the look I'm probably gonna go for today is kind of inspired by the palette name Sunset, so we're gonna just go for it. We're gonna do like a nice, beautiful, bronzy sunset vibe on my eyes today. Right, well, first impressions, there is definitely a lot of pigment. When I tap the brush though, a lot of it did come off, but it's showing up really nicely and blending out pretty well. I'm having to go back and forth a couple more times than I'm used to, but the pigment is definitely there and it is showing up, so I really appreciate that. On that same brush, I'm now gonna dip into this darker kind of brick red and start to intensify my crease. And that's really pretty. These are blending really nicely together. Now to intensify the sunset vibe even more, I'm gonna take my ring finger and dip into this gold shade right here, and I'm gonna lay that all over the lid. Ooh, look at that pigment. I wanna also say that the first 2 shadows I used were mattes. This is a shimmer and it is definitely pigmented. Do you all see that? Wow. And I'm not being too careful about the placement. I do have a little bit of that going up into my crease, but that's totally fine because I'm gonna go back in with this same brush. I've only used 1 brush so far, and I'm gonna blend that all together. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here and apply that to the inner third of my eye. I just wanna give that sunset a little more dimension. And then on the outer third, I'm gonna dip into this kind of nice chocolatey brown shade and give it a little bit more dimension. And I'm gonna start to carry that into my lower lash line as well. Now on a big fluffy blending brush, I'm gonna dip back into this nice light shade here and maybe a little bit of this shade too. And I'm gonna use that to smoke out and blend my lower lash line. Then with this corner shade right here, I'm gonna use that as my brow bone highlight. All right, well, what do we think so far? I'm really liking this color combo. My only thing is that I'm not too sure about the mattes, only because they kind of faded down a little bit over time when I was blending other colors on top of it. So I had to go back in and reapply some of the mattes, but the shimmers, whoa, they are on point. I'm living for them. If they just came out with like a metallic palette, I'd be so down for that. Now, MS Glamour does have a couple different mascaras on their website, and this one is the Curling and Volume Mascara in the color black. Here is, ooh, that is a really interesting wand. Look at that, you guys. That's a lot of fun. Okay, I'm excited to see what this is gonna do. Whoa. Oh my gosh. You guys, I have not dipped back in once. Look at what that mascara just did to my lashes. Wow, that's epic. Okay, let me go in with that same wand. I have not dipped back in, and I'm gonna do my lower lashes. All right, let's compare. This is the side with mascara, and this is the side without. Could you tell? Wow, this mascara is a home run for me. That was one dip, and it's like, who needs to put on false lashes when you have that kind of lengthening? That is gorgeous. All right, so I did decide to go in and apply a little bit more highlight right underneath my eyes because I thought I was looking a little bit too sunken in. I haven't really been getting a lot of sleep, so I wanted to just go back in and apply a little bit more lightening powder right here. Personal preference, has nothing to do with the makeup. I was just looking at myself while I was applying the mascara and I was like, VANO, I think you need a little bit more brightening right here. So if I look a little different, that's why. For lips, I'm gonna go in with their liner in the shade Spice, and then I'm gonna go over top of it with their lip lacquer, and this is in the shade Honest. And this lip lacquer has kind of like a candy smell to it. It's really nice. It's not too overpowering. Well, first impressions, the liner was really easy to apply. I love the color. And this lip lacquer is a lot sheerer than I thought, but it's giving this kind of beautiful, rich red vibe to my lips, especially how it's blending in with the liner, and I'm kind of living for it. To finish off this look, I'm gonna go in with their setting spray and set this entire face. We'll just give this a quick shake. Oh, this setting spray smells so good. All right, you guys, well, here is the completed look. What do you think? Sound off in the comments below. I wanna know all of your feedback and opinions about what you saw today. This was super fun to do. I've never actually done a full face of one company before or one brand, and I'm really excited to have done MS Glamour. Again, I've had a lot of fun doing this. Now, I will say the products that did stand out the most to me was the mascara by far. Oh my God. I really like the lip pencil color. It went on really nicely. They also have this beautiful kind of bronzy gloss that they sent over to me, which I didn't use today, but look at how rich and just luscious that look. I like the lip lacquer. I just wish I didn't have to apply so many layers to get to this shade right here. It seemed a lot more pigmented in the bottle, but then, you know, when applying it, it really sheared out. So you know, I think that's just a personal preference. Like I said about the palette, the shimmers blew me away. That was just like phenomenal. I love the way they're looking right now. The makeup's been on my face for almost an hour. The mattes were a little bit harder to work with just because I felt like as I was blending them out, they kind of lost a little bit of pigment, so I had to go back and re-blend them. This palette right here blew me away. Overall, this is A+ across the board. I love all of these highlight shades and I love all of these contour and bronzer shades. This is an amazing palette. Man, I wish that there were names attached to this because by far, I think this was my favorite palette in the entire series. The blush was really cute. There's a lot of payoff with the pigment, so I had to go back and kind of dim it down and then reapply and kind of work with it a little bit. It's nothing to do with the formula or everything, it's just personal preference because when I first applied it, it was like, bam, there it is. But overall, I mean, I just love how subtle it looks now, especially since I blended it out and let it sit on my skin a little bit. So I'm really liking the blushes. The concealers, I'm not too crazy about, only because I'm a full coverage kind of guy when it comes to my concealers. I was kind of expecting maybe a little bit more buildable coverage when it came to the concealers. I really like this foundation. I honestly didn't know what to expect because as you all know, I'm like nuts about Fenty. So seeing what this did to my skin, it has this very kind of natural radiant finish and I really like that. There is a little bit of creasing happening around my nose, but other than that, it's pretty much stayed put. So props on foundation. Also, I gotta talk about these highlighters, you guys. This was again an A+ for me. I love the way my skin looks. You can see on camera, my skin just looks healthy and dewy and almost glass-like. I mean, like, look at that highlight. MS Glamour, you have some amazing highlights on your hands, so really well done in that department as well. The setting spray, I guess it worked. I'm not sure. I mean, it's setting spray, but I really like the smell. It's got a really nice, fresh smell to it. And look at the spray on this. Like, that's just luxe. The primer is nice. It's got a really nice silicone-y feel to it. If I'm looking at my face up close, in the beginning, I was a little concerned because I felt like I could see a lot of my pores, but now that it's settled into my face, I'm really starting to see some of that disappear. Well, that's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and a big shout out to the entire team at MS Glamour. I really appreciate getting the opportunity to review your collection. It was really nice overall, and I'm so glad that I got to be a part of your journey and get to see all of the fun things and amazing products that you all have come up with. I, again, appreciate it so much and just thank you. Again, if you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I love having everyone on here and experiencing this journey with me through music, art, and fashion. This was just so much fun today. I can't wait to do more of these in the future for all of you. And on that note, I will see you in my next video. All right, bye.